But like this definitely helps because like it's hard to meet new people as you get older. There's not like a structure, especially as we're all like working from home. Like I think COVID really caught up with me. Like, wow, things changed a lot. And then on top of that, I made more changes. So yeah, I think I answered that question.
Thank you all so much for joining me for another series of The Traveling Table. I had this original idea where I wanted to bring strangers together to meet each other and hear stories from each other, because I think we all have such interesting experiences in our life that we either don't get the opportunity to share or we don't get to hear other people's stories. So we make assumptions about why people show up a certain way, or we make assumptions about people's lived experiences without actually knowing them. And my hope is that by bringing strangers together to have conversations and answer different questions every time, is that we get a peek into someone else's experience that maybe changes the way that we think or solve problems or assume something about someone. And so my hope is tonight that as we get to know each other, we learn something new and we take it into our full lives and maybe do something a little bit differently. I ask you all to be open-minded and curious. It's okay if we don't agree with each other on everything. We can absolutely explore ideas, but I just ask you to be really kind and thoughtful and not question people's lived experiences. And extra special, everyone here at this table is here for a reason. I think you all should know each other, like genuinely should know each other as friends, maybe as colleagues. Like, you all have so many other crossed over interests. So I hope it goes beyond the table, and that's my hope. But let's go ahead and eat. And as we eat, what I would love to do is go around the table and share your name and where you live.
My name is Micaiah, and I'm from Baltimore, and I live here currently.
My name's Anya, and I part-time live in Baltimore, and I'm originally from Silver Spring.
My name is Willis, and I live in Baltimore, and I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York.
Nice. I'm Jessie, and I am from Jacksonville, Florida, by way of Tallahassee, Florida.
I'm Yashira, and I am from here, from Baltimore, Maryland.
If you left this earth today, what is the impact you're leaving having made? How do you feel about it? I think teaching is like a big part of my life and like DNA. And I don't think I would be like where I'm at, without like my own teachers. So I fell in love with graphic design in high school. I had this like awesome teacher who like always like inspired me, talked to me about my work and like what they believe I can do. And even though like I do design and all those things, I always think about like how important it is to impact people's lives. And I always thank him for like helping me get where I'm at. So I think, teaching is something that I want to, leave behind and inspire other people to like pursue their passion. Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
I feel like that's something that like I see you post about here and there, and like I've been dying to ask you about it, so I'm excited that you shared a little bit about it.
Thank you.
Can you share a little bit more about your teaching experiences?
So the funny thing is, the teacher, I went to Overly High School in Baltimore, and I started taking graphic design there. And I continued my relationship with my teacher outside of school, like when I graduated, in terms of like design and stuff. And years later, I met up with him, and I told him I wanted to teach, just like casually. And probably like a couple months later, someone hit me up and was like, hey, do you want to teach graphics at Overly? I'm like, what? Where I went? Yeah, so I started teaching as a substitute. Then I went to art, and then I transferred to like another school. So it's just been this like journey. And I feel like I'm supposed to be teaching no matter where I'm at in life. Like, you better be teaching, you know? So
It's a great way to learn too, right?
mhm.
Like, if you're teaching, you're always having to like reach into other pockets of
Yeah.
yourself.
And it's been interesting because I've taught at the high school level, college, and now I'm on the military base. So it's been just like an interesting journey for me, and I'm just gonna keep rocking with it.
What do you like? Which teaching experience do you like the most?
Um,
Or if you had to choose?
I'm gonna say the high school because I feel like being there, I saw myself, that student that like wanted to learn and fell in love with graphic design. So that was the hardest experience, but it was the best experience for me. I want to hear from you, Jenna, Jesse.
Can you see the question
Sure.
again?
If you left this earth today, what is the impact you're leaving, having made? How do you feel about it?
Wow. So first I think about teaching also because I started my company and I mixed in kind of all of my loves. So my company is doing like training, teaching people how to kind of be their best selves. How can you show up and be your best self, and making them confident to shine by telling their story or by being a team or by connecting with people. But I think even more, it's probably for my daughters. I hope that, you know, they can see that in themselves, that they can become, you know, whatever they want to be. You know, it's hard work to carve out a path for what you love and like make that path for yourself and figure out that way. But I really hope that they see that they can like do it too, you know? And yeah, so if I left the world today, I would hope they know that they have it in them to just, I don't know, like go for it, you know? Like, yeah, just they can dream up what they want and just do it. Like, and they also don't have to know exactly what that is either. Like, it's a journey and they can like weave it all together. Yeah, you don't have to have it all figured out all the time either.
I would just love for you to show off a little bit about what's going on with your daughters, if you're open to it, because like they are already seeing that anything is possible. And if you're comfortable sharing, I think it's incredible for everyone to hear the exposure that they've had since they were babies has led to what's happening right now in their lives. And I just have to say, like, I am like, I want to be them when I grow up, and like, they're children. So
Aw,
cool.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear that because I think, you know, I started my business when Maya, my oldest daughter, was 1, and I used to get picked on. I felt like I had to travel a lot for my job, and people would ask me like, you know, where are your kids? You know, like when I was traveling, like where are they? Like I had left them out in the street or something, you know, and I was always asking myself like, am I making the right decision? So, you know what yeah. So to hear that, Leah's really kind.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because it's a struggle to be a mom and an entrepreneur and to know if you're balancing. Ugh, sorry. So you don't know, you know, you don't know if you're doing the right thing. But I really want them to know they can be, you know, they can be whoever they want to be. And now they're older. One's 13 and one's 16.
And my older daughter's really interested in graphic design, actually. And she started her own company during COVID when she was in 7th grade. And I'm so proud of her, you know. And she works with Lia.
She does all of my graphics outside of what you're printing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my younger daughter's like the athlete and does theater and all this stuff. And yeah, so I'm not, you know, I'm sure she's gonna figure out what she loves too, and she's figuring that out. But yeah, it's just, you always have that, like, that thing in the back of your head, like, you know, did I somehow neglect them or something? Because all these people always question you as a mom. So, sorry.
No, don't.
Sorry.
No, I've always been like, if I ever have children, I hope I could be a fraction of what you are as a mom. Because, so I've worked with Jessie since 2017. When I left my job, my full-time job, I didn't know what I was going to do. And someone introduced me to Jessie and said, no, just figure it out. Like, talk to her, she'll know. And I got to work with Jessie. Like, she was my coach for a little while, and then now we work together. But from the beginning, I met her children, and like, we went to dinner the first time I met in person, and Maya and I just clicked.
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah. Her oldest and I just clicked, and she was how old then in 2017?
I don't even know. I can't do math.
Yeah,
I did not go into math.
She was not a teenager.
That's my subject matter, because I can't count.
She would have been. She's 16 now, so that was 5 years ago. So
yeah, I still can't tell you. I can't minus.
She would have been
5.
11. She would have been 11.
Sure.
So 11-year-old and I are sitting across the table from each other, and we're just talking, having this like deep conversation, and I was blown away that 11-year-old could just have this adult conversation and like kind of lead the conversation in some ways. And I've been blown away. And so when Maya started her business at 13, I was like, do you want to do my graphic work? Because I don't have anybody and I need somebody. And so we've worked together for the last 3 years. And yeah, I've been blown away. So like between working with you all and working with her, so I just, because you said that's what the impact is that you want to have, I just think it's special that you share.
So important, yeah. Well, thank you for noticing that, because it is an insecurity and also a big deal to me.
Yeah. And I love that you asked Jessie
Wow,
that question.
I'm just like, I can't believe it. Like,
You didn't know,
No.
and that's part of why I want
for
you to
asking
know
me
each
that.
other.
That's very kind.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
So
That's
now,
deep.
so now you got to meet her daughter.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I would love Maya to meet you. I just would love that if you'd be open to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just another impact you could make.
That's it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you, like, as you hear that and you hear about like that, the teaching and the impact on the kids, like, is that part of what is driving you in that?
Yeah. It's not really about like the job or whatever, but the impact that I received from my teacher was like changed my life. You know, I started my design company when I was 24 and 32 now. And if I didn't take that class with that teacher, I wouldn't have been able to do design with me. I wouldn't even be able to teach. Like, it's both things, you know? So, I mean, it's like life-changing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, now you get the beauty of getting to pick who asks their next question.
Okay, I would like to ask Anya to read her question.
Okay, if there were no barriers, how would you spend the rest of your life? I would be on stage. I grew up playing music. My dad just like exposed me and my brothers to it. So we were always playing. And like for a couple years in my life, I was like playing and writing, and like was in DC and I was like, I want to join a band. And then literally like you were saying earlier, like someone was just like, well, do you want to do it? And I'm like, oh, okay. And like literally auditioned. A friend was in the band and I was like, okay, this feels comfortable. And had never like written in any capacity. But like, and we had been on stage as kids. Like our parents took us to like retirement homes and like made us sing in front of everybody, or like we had like a music room. So that was like fairly comfortable for me. But then like just being on stage was something that I wrote was like next level. And like as soon as the show was over, I was just like, I need to do this again. Like, can we play the set again? Like, let's keep this going. And in some capacity, I'm still writing now. I write music for a podcast with our band, which is cool. But like being on stage is, I don't know. I typically don't like that. So I'm like surprised by it. I guess it's like the high and the energy and just like wanting to keep that up, and just like the mass of sound is like so, I just can't get that anywhere else. And if I could make that work, I totally would. And who knows, I might. Like the trajectory of my life is like so back and forth on many things, so who knows, but that is what I would like to do.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
Okay. Why are you trying to go into tech if that's what you want to do? I'm sorry.
That's a great question. I think there's like a way that I've been able to balance multiple things in my life. Mm-hmm. And I know that music is always going to be there. So it doesn't have to be on stage for the rest of my life. That's fine. That's like very hard to do also. But I think I could make both work. I have been. And yeah, I don't feel like I need to stop myself from one or the other, which I used to think I had to, like choose a path, like you go to school, you choose your career, and then that is not how it works out ever. No one ever tells you that. So like learning that about myself has like been really powerful, empowering to me. So yeah, but that's a very valid question.
But also that's a really good answer, because
Okay.
we're not a one-track person. I've
Yeah.
also struggled with that my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I have 500 things I want to do. And on social media, we have one thing that we have to be good at, right? Like if you think about it, branding is like, what's your thing? Yeah. And for me, I've always struggled to tell my story because I do all the things. I want to be everything. And I think the most beautiful thing is not choosing one thing. So to your point, my push was, hey, don't settle for something else if this is what you really want. But I think what you're saying is even more incredible, because we're dynamic people and we have to have other things to do at the same time, but don't give up on one thing to do the other thing either.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what life is. It's just finding the balance of all the things.
Have you ever infused them both, Anya? Like tech and music together?
Not yet. I mean, yeah, I guess it depends how you define tech.
I mean, anything's technical, right?
Right. Because like whenever I'm like doing a video edit, like the music is the thing that drives.
Yes, it helps tell the
everything.
story.
Yeah, so I can't help but have that as like probably even the forefront of everything that I do, because it was like the first creative, mind expanding thing that I was introduced to as a kid.
Yeah.
So that is like the filter that everything goes through almost.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you tackle being, I don't know what the correct word is, but a score maker for like films?
We actually did our band is like a very cinematic sound. So the podcast that we score is potentially turning into a show. I don't know. There's like many ventures in that way. So yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind. And the producer of our band and the whole like drive of what we do is very cinematic. So why not?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And who would you like to share your question with?
I would like to ask Willis to answer my question.
If there were no barriers, how would you spend the rest of your life? Actually, well, the documentary, my son is on a wrestling team, and they're a nonprofit, and they have no support from the county, and they like fully fund themselves, and they have like a lot of issues like getting things done, and they have to do everything themselves. So I wanted to shine some light on their story and document that, and then hopefully shed some light on the good things that they're doing. So
You're making a documentary on that?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope.
Okay, what's it called?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still like in the very infant stages of planning and getting the story correct.
Do you want us to name it tonight for you?
Yeah. Let's put a name to it. Yeah, it's my favorite part, naming things. Yeah.
I like how you just casually are like, yeah, I'm gonna make a documentary.
Yeah.
The first time ever. just
I've
doing
never done it before, so I mean, we'll figure it out. Yeah, a short doc. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
Anya, you get to choose who asks the next question.
I would like to ask Yoshi to answer her question.
Okay, so my question is, how do you feel about your current community? Do you feel connected, fulfilled, or is anything missing? With my current community, you know, I live in a small neighborhood right off of Pulaski Highway, and the neighborhood has been, it's comprised of so many, you know, different people. We have a lot of Hispanics, Latinos, we have a lot of African Americans, a lot of, you know, just like it's so diverse. And I think I want to talk about specifically to the community of the middle school that is in the neighborhood where I went to, Armistead Gardens Elementary Middle School. I recently got a job there to work with their Spanish-speaking students, since the numbers are growing, and they needed someone to help them directly in their classes, just to help with translating, you know, reviewing assignments, providing all of that. And this kind of ties into what you were talking about, Mikey, earlier about teaching. And going back, I started working there on Monday, actually. I feel really loved in this community, since a little backstory, I was actually born in Alabama, but I wasn't raised there. When I was born, my mom took me directly to Puerto Rico, and I'd stayed there a couple years, and then Dominican Republic, and then I stayed there a couple years, and then I lived in Massachusetts for a little while, and then from there I went to Baltimore. But when I got to Armistead Gardens, you know, I grew really attached to all of my teachers, because I was the kind of student that was really excited to learn, and I really liked immersing myself in the lessons and applying myself to everything. And I was like, oh, what does this mean? Or can I stay after school and work on this, you know? And, you know, once I graduated middle school, you know, all the teachers loved me, and that made me feel really loved. And so coming back now as a college student, you know, I just feel so loved. I feel so loved. They made me feel so welcome. Like, Yashira, you're back. You're working here. Welcome to the family. And so I definitely feel connected. And I feel like some part of me feel like I'm fulfilling something since I've always loved teaching. In high school, I was the leader of a nonprofit called the English-Spanish Intercambio, which is where high school students here at my high school, Baltimore City College High School, and the Baltimore School of the Arts, the students, we taught English to Spanish speakers in the community, specifically Highlandtown. And I led that from freshman year to senior year. You know, there's always been an aspect where I was teaching something. And so coming to the middle school and working with these students and being able to bring out that side of me again, I feel like I am fulfilling some part of me that I always embraced, but never really thought was like my path, my goal to, you know. And yeah, so I feel really loved in this community, and I'm really excited to see where this teaching journey takes me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. And so I want to pass this question off to Anya.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Can you read it one more time?
Yeah. How do you feel about your community? About your current community? Do you feel connected, fulfilled, or is anything missing?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think I've been struggling to find community, and mostly because like I sort of had a good base, maybe I'd say like 4 or 5 years ago. And then COVID hit, lost my job, started my own job, kind of like got super sucked into that and like didn't talk to anybody almost. Like I was literally just like on my computer trying to like create this thing out of nothing, which ultimately took a toll. And then last winter, I actually went to Turkey for like 6 months. And I feel like when I came back, it was just different, which is fine. So I've sort of been able to fall back on my family, which I'm really grateful for. I have like 3 beautiful brothers and like really supportive parents. So I kind of like am reprioritizing what I need and who I reach out to and spend time with is like super intentional, because like I don't know, there's like so many things going on that I'm like, okay, when I spend time with someone, like I want to make sure I'm my full self with them as well. And I think like the default of having my family has been really helpful. And we have like a new niece in the picture too. So I'm like, oh my God, like this is my community now. I don't need anything. Or like she's the future. It's really interesting to like feel that like the family is moving forward. She's the first one on our side. And so, yeah, I'd say my community is getting stronger in a lot of ways. I'm learning what I need, and I think I also have to like remind myself that just because I sort of went away for a while, that coming back in has never been difficult. I've never been like pushed away or like, where'd you come from? Oh, you're back now? Okay. You know, it's like, it's probably just in my own head. I think it's just like a continuous journey onto wherever I end up as well. I think I will probably travel a lot and end up back here because I have made some really great connections and continue to like through everything, you know? So through this table.
Outside of this table too, come on. Give yourself all the credit.
But like this definitely helps because like it's hard to meet new people as you get older. There's not like a structure, especially as we're all like working from home. Like I think COVID really caught up with me. Like, wow, things changed a lot. And then on top of that, I made more changes. So yeah, I think I answered that question. It's always growing, which is the beauty of community. So
Do you feel like when you said, I'm curious, when you said that you felt like things were different when you came back, is it different because of traveling, or is it different because of COVID, or is it different because of both? Like, where does the different come in? Way to go, Willis.
Yeah, the difference, I think time was kind of a big thing. And yeah, I actually don't know how to answer that question. What was the change? I think time was a big thing, and just like me sort of reevaluating where I want to go, and like what types of relationships I want to build. Like, not to say that any relationships I have here are bad, but
Sure.
I think also like it's sort of, I joined the tool library when I first moved to Baltimore, and my brother was working there, so I like sort of was in that crew and like very active. And now when I go there, there's like a ton of new people that I don't know, which is like exciting, but it's also like, oh, whoa, I'm like not, when I walk into that room, it's not the same. So yeah, I think just time evolves everything. And yeah, I just, I also have to get out of my own way.
I think I was asking that because I feel like I've heard that a lot recently from people. Like, you're not alone in that feeling. I don't know if that helps or doesn't help.
It helps.
But, okay, good. Good. I mean, I would say I feel similarly, right?
Yeah.
But I think I've talked to so many people recently that are saying something similar, and it's been a weird 3 years, right? Like, let's just call it as it is. It's been a weird 3 years, and it feels like we've been in this time warp to some degree, and a lot has changed and nothing has changed, and things look the same but they're not the same. So I think I was just curious like where that fell for you. But it is interesting to see like so many people are feeling this disconnection, or this I need to rebuild community, or what is community. And I'm really curious to see where it goes. Like, I'm curious to see what people end up doing to make that community happen, so that we feel like grounded again, right? We're not all floating off in space in these virtual worlds, which I love, but also, you know, we have to be in person too. Yeah. I hope that you find your community. Family is important, and I'm glad you have that. Yeah. Yeah.